Hey guys, I'm sure coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there today. Hey, today, guys, what do you think of the Cursed City so far? Are you feeling it? Are you not a fan? Are you itching to log in every day to get your Cursed City keys utilized? Are you competing with your clanmates, or do you really not care at all? Do you barely even touch the new section of the game?
I don't know how long he can survive in here.
Either way, I want to hear from you guys and kind of why you're into it, why you're not. Personally, I feel like the rewards in Cursed City are actually pretty good, pretty spot on for me. There's a bit of a, well, not a bit, there's a lot of a lack of kind of innovation to it. Everything still feels like the same old dungeon, the same old bosses, obviously, you know, with one exception. But, you know, other than that, and Amos is kind of confusing. I put out a video on him. I thought it was pretty solid if you're struggling there. But, you know, I digress. I think that it's kind of, it doesn't have that like super spark of a feeling for me, I guess. It doesn't feel like, wow, this is awesome content, but it feels like this is awesome rewards. And I will say this, the saving grace of this update, in which what kind of keeps me feeling it like in a big way, like, okay, this feels good at least, is the restrictions.
Let's go here, let's go there. Like, we can afford to go here and there.
I'm sure for some of you guys, it's frustrating because you just don't have these particular, you know, champions built, and it would suck if you run into a roadblock. But I'm figuring, you know, most eligible players after level 52, they probably, for the most part, have, you know, enough champions built so where they can progress at least a bit in normal difficulty, right? Either way, guys, I do like those restrictions. It keeps things feeling fresh for me, at least, coming up with new strategies to tackle bosses that I'm already familiar with. Anyway, guys, you know what I was thinking? I was putting a team together earlier today, just on a random wave or whatever. What I do like doing is kind of trying to compete with my clanmates, you know, for the turns. Keeps it interesting for me, at least, you know.
I wanna be the very best.
Look at that. They all look alike, don't they?
I got to thinking, you know, that I can't use 90% of my auras, right? Because it's dungeons, it's Doom Tower, it's arena, you know, faction, even worse, you know, but like, so there's not a lot of all battles, right? Well, as we see one here, right, in Gala, but there's not a lot, right? So to me, it really, at first, this is how it kind of like sparked this idea for a video, is at first I was like, dude, I need to make a video complaining about the auras, man. We're gonna have like 20 new things in this game, and we're gonna have new champions come out with really niche specific auras just for that one area. It was okay for Doom Tower because it was the first time a new big section that required its own aura was kind of added to the game. But now with Cursed City, you know there's gonna be a bunch of champions with Cursed City auras. And to me, it's just like, what a shame. I really wish they just added Cursed City to some other champions. But all that being said, as I started to think of it a little bit more glass half full. And here's the thing, right? Before we get into all aura champions and how valuable, or all battle aura champions and how valuable they are, starting with speed, probably the most valuable in the largest amount of areas. Before that, let's talk about what we know is coming next year. We know it's going to be not clan versus clan arena. It's going to be clan versus clan. It's going to be some sort of a clan war system. So what that all plays into this same narrative here. They're going to come out with some champions that probably will have some aura for clan wars, you know? And if they don't, it's still going to behoove you to pick up all battles. It's going to be, right? All battles, man. These are the ones, to me, that all battle auras, every new piece of content that comes out. And the reason I say it's all these champions, I'm not just picking my favorites, is because of that restriction in the game, right? You might need any of these. Like, some of these are so niche, you might only have a few champions, and sometimes having that speed aura or that accuracy all battle aura can be the difference maker for you, you know? I'm not gonna go over all these champions or pull them all up for you guys. I don't need to make the video 20 minutes long. However, you know, I do want to pick out a few of my favorite speeds, all battles, accuracy, all battles, and resist, all battles. There's a lot of defense, all battles, and HP in all battles too, and obviously they're very good, but I do feel like speed, accuracy, and resist are kind of those stats that you just really need because you're just not able to get there gear-wise, you know? Anyway, obviously Duchess, Elva, both SSS tier champions. Elva, to me, right now, she's kind of almost different, very different champion, but almost the same level as Duchess, which is crazy to say, but she's just incredible.
And what gave you the confidence?
Delusion.
These are the S tiers, the obvious champions, right? Beyond that, though, let's go down like one notch here, right? Obviously, Fushan is really good for control and damage. Definitely a valuable champion, right? One of the better damage dealers for just clan boss, like old school too, right? Calvalak's obviously incredible, right? We know that. Manaya, I'm not a huge fan of. She's not trash, but she needs a buff. She needs to do a little bit more. I do love Mother Cybele. She's got that speed all aura battle aura, excuse me. Cut that and fix that, please. She's got that speed all battle aura, but she also has like a pretty cool kit, right? She's got the AoE on the A1. She's very fast. She has very, very, one of the fastest champions in the game. So I've always been a fan of hers. Nekmothar is amazing. Razovarg is amazing. Tremeria, you know, we gave her a lot of hate for a Void Legendary, but that being said, is like Curse City is the type of content where she does shine in, you know, a lot more than what had previously kind of existed other than dungeon waves. But Temeria, I do think she's like pretty solid, right? Good control, and just a really kind of an interesting and good kit now that we have more kind of restrictive wave content out there that's just only going to get harder the longer that this goes on, right? Yoshi, I'm a big fan of. He's like the best bomb setup champion in the game with increased accuracy and increased speed, or excuse me, attack on the same ability. So those are, you know, I think most of these are obviously very good, you know, even the ones that I didn't touch on are solid. I've even seen people use Rorik in a couple different areas in so far in Curse City on some of the faster teams. Deacon Armstrong is great. Battle Sage is pretty decent. She got a cleanse. She's, you know, she's okay. When I say decent, I'm talking about like previously more like arena niche champions or a faction war champion. Now with the speed all battle aura can definitely, you know, benefit you. What is her speed all battle aura? For some reason I thought she was arena aura, but obviously I'm wrong. So she has the speed all battles by 19%. Yeah, man, like that's really solid. Anyway, I made my point on the speed. Let me go through, and sorry for not doing the rares either. Let me just touch on maybe a couple of my favorite rares. Obviously, Ashwalker. He's my favorite. I know it's in the name.
He is me, and I am he. All that was or ever shall be.
But to me, out of all of these champions here, Spirit Host has a cleanse, so she could have some utility. These are small speed auras, though, on these champions. Lamabur, again, you get some sort of utility, I suppose, in very restrictive, rare-only content, you know? Anyway, accuracy all battles, right? Alexander the Sharpshooter, a lot of people have him because he was a free champion at one point. And, again, I mean, he is nothing to write home about, but he is an AoE decreased defense champion. And, you know, he can hit fairly hard on the born to win ability too. But again, accuracy all battles, sometimes you just can't get that accuracy off of gear. And running a dude like Alexander the Sharpshooter, if you're going to use, you know, a champion as a debuffer anyway, definitely, you know, hold on to this dude. And again, I'm thinking beyond just Curse City. You know, a lot of these champions are good in a lot of different areas of the game, but even into the future, you know, who should you just have your eye on and just kind of, you know, hold on to, maybe throw a few books into in a clan versus clan or something, even if you don't have an immediate utility, because maybe you do run across that restrictive room or you need them in the future. I love Contra. I think Shamrock is really good in this sort of content as well. He does a lot, the big fella, and he's really fast too. Mithrala obviously is S tier. I like Archbishop Pinthroy quite a bit. So like a lot of these, I'm not a massive fan of Strategos.
Again, what?
Strategos.
Strategos.
Stratego? I don't know. Tuanarok's amazing. Yumeko as well. I like Ethan the Golden. He's kind of a really cool kid. I did a guide on him on the Raid Shadow Legends Champion Guides channel. He doesn't score incredibly anywhere, but he has a 2-time hitter with block active skills on the first hit. And then True Fear if they don't fall under those block active skills. So that's a pretty good ability, right? On a 4-turn cooldown. And then he has an increased crit damage, increased accuracy on this champion with the extra turn, which can push it down to, you know, essentially a 3-turn cooldown. He has a shield himself on his A1. Anyway, I actually think he's pretty good. He can deal some decent damage too. He's an attack-based champion. His base attack is 1432. His multipliers aren't out of this world, but he's a pretty cool champ, you know? He's a little squishy is the downside. Almost 1,000 defense is solid, but 13K. I said I wasn't gonna make this a 20-minute video, but I'm kind of enjoying talking about these aura champs here.
As long as you're happy, I'm unsettled.
Let me go through a few more. Fire Gun is pretty good. Ryan's good because she's a buff stripper on a 3-turn cooldown in the big version of Weaken and a Revive. So she's accessible through Doom Tower. A lot of you guys should be going for her or already have her. Really solid, really solid. Especially this is the type of content. Again, accuracy, all battle aura, and content where usually Reviver is going to be helping you in almost anywhere. Buff Remover Stripper is going to be helping you everywhere. A big version of Weaken, absolutely, right? Vogoth is great. Yaga, I hate. Vildrax is all right. Zargala is a good DPS. So again, all of these are worth kind of a second glance. Judge, I'm actually a fan of Judge. He's a pretty cool champion too. Did a guide on him on the Champion Guide channel. And then last but not least, all battles resist. So obviously Asgore, I think he's amazing, very underrated. He kind of went under the radar, I feel like, when he was released, you know? He's the Jetney the Giant tandem champion or whatever. So he's really good. He's got a complete heal, block damage, just a really cool champ. Anyway, Beauregard has the increase out resistance. So if you need a high resist team, you got it in Beauregard and the aura on top of that, you know? Necra is like, can just help you through any content. Helier, you know, he's got a pretty cool kit. He's got a pretty cool kit. Doesn't do a ton of damage and his shield isn't that big, but even outside of that, he's not bad. Gerbtuck is worth investing in just for Hydra. If you don't have him already, he's a really good Hydra champion. It's crazy. He's one of those champions that you put into a Hydra team and you just put it on auto or do whatever, you know, and then more often than not, you can't really explain it. Obviously, you can, just the poison's amping up damage. But he also brings block buffs on a 2-turn, 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Anyway, he's good. You just do more damage with him in your team, you know, over value over replacement. Raf Matab has a provoke and an increased resistance as well. So again, it synergizes pretty well with the aura. Sethalia is good. You know, she's got control as well, resist aura. Tila is incredible in so much of this content. She's good against so many bosses. She's tanky, she's burned, she heals. She's very, very good. I did a video on her recently. And actually, Vergamkar is really good now after his buff. He has increased defense on a 3-turn, decreased defense on a 3-turn. He has a little bit of a cleanse, extensions. He's doing a lot. He's doing a lot. Vergamkar is actually really good. Skathik has a cleanse. Taragi the Frog I have a video on Taragi coming out either yesterday or tomorrow. I'm not sure the order, but he's insanely good. He's very legendary-like kit. He really does. And then Seer, we all know Seer. Skathik's really good. Renegade, obviously, she has tons of uses. So definitely she would be the rare that pops out at me here in Resistance. So guys, value even more so your all battles champions. If you're deciding between 2 champions to invest in, to use your resources on, your books on, and it's kind of 50-50, go all battles. Look for those all battles champions and invest, because the more content that comes out, the better these champions get. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.